Hello Meadow and Hawk Collective, it's Haley. I thought I would just jump in and we're gonna do a little reading. So before we start, let's kind of just ground into the space. No matter what kind of day you've had, just kind of taking a deep breath and trusting that if you found this video, hopefully there's a message in here for you to kind of bring you some sort of comfort during this time. So if you're sitting with your legs crossed, maybe putting your feet with the soles of your feet on the ground, I'm gonna do the same. Just kind of opening yourself up to the healing, grounding energy that is here with us now. And so we're just gonna start flowing. Let's get the vibes going. We're gonna try to find some messages. Okay, so what does the Meadow and Hawk Collective need to know at this time? What are the supportive energies that are available to us in this current PQ? Okay, there's a newness coming in, and what that kind of comes with that. There's a lot of uncertainty. So maybe some of us are starting new projects. There's something that's uncertain, and there's the potential to kind of feel insecure about that, or kind of have fear come up in terms of not having all of the details about how something is going to work out. But I'm hearing that something about beginner's luck and trusting that there's a gift in being a beginner. Okay. Athena, beautiful. So I pulled Persephone with inexperience, and then we have Athena with wisdom and knowledge. Okay. So some of us are learning something new. What are we learning? What is this new thing? Okay. We're learning how to communicate in a way that doesn't abandon ourselves. So we have Demeter as well as Iris in the reverse position. Okay. We're learning to honor ourselves in the ways that we interact with other people, and the kind of habituated people-pleasing tendencies are kind of dissolving in a way. We're learning how to be strong in our communication. So maybe you might be noticing that old ways of communicating that kind of didn't speak to the truth in some way, but just kind of were like fluff is what I'm hearing, just kind of like superficial fluff. There's something that's getting more real here. There's something something is having pressure put on it, and so that the truth of what it is can be revealed. The Meadow and Hawk Collective, please. What do we need to know at this time? Okay. The Eight of Cups. A lot of us are feeling, I'm hearing pressure, but the reality of the kind of dissonance, the rift, the gyre, the gap, the divide between us and others. And we don't know, okay, what I'm hearing is we're afraid to leave because we might be alone if we leave, but we'll never know what might be on the other side of that divide in the other more truer forms of connection. So maybe a lot of us are having some sort of like, maybe this is showing up in relationships with others where, whether it's friendships or, okay, the Three of Swords, and this is really painful. The pain of being misunderstood is what I'm feeling. So if any of you guys out there are feeling, okay, wow, it's kind of like this feeling of the rug being pulled out from under. Ooh, let me adjust that angle right there. Okay, this kind of feeling of instability, and we don't know. Okay, it's this really painful feeling because it's like all of the connections suddenly feel like they're built on this kind of like superficial need to be needed. Maybe codependency is the wrong word. I feel like it's kind of diluted and overused, but something akin to that, where we're feeling the pressure of the choice to either walk away. What is on the other side of walking away? If the King of Wands, Okay, so the option is to stay and be certain, or to take this other alternative path that's being blessed by the goddess Persephone of the eternal spring, this more grounded strength, by choosing something that's this kind of is sort of like a follow-up to the Aries full moon video, because I'm kind of feeling this is kind of like a thread that's being pulled from that lunation onward. The moon. Okay, being open to clarity coming in. And I remember I said something in that video about allowing people to show us who they really are. Wow, okay, we have the sun and the moon in reverse. Interesting. This really just makes me think of this card of just, it kind of looks like a sun and a moon up there. Okay, the light will return once we walk away. That's interesting. So some of us need to walk away from something. Okay, so now we have the Queen and the King of Wands in the reversed position. It's kind of like a collapse of confidence and a kind of like inner, like an inner confusion. But you can trust that in that kind of disintegration, a new way is being paved forward. And this old sort of like, okay, this sort of like outdated inner, maybe within your psyche or being represented in other people in your external reality, there is a death of certain authority figures. So whether that's like some narrative that you picked up from childhood, maybe from like a teacher or a mother or father, or like a physical, if you're finding that you're attracting people into your reality who are mirroring old and outdated kind of narratives, ideologies in the way they interact with you, that kind of prop up or parrot like an outmoded, kind of like downtrodden, like boomer is what I'm hearing. Oh, Elliot wants to say hi. Like a sort of an outmoded, it feels kind of oppressed in a way. Ooh, Elliot, he wants to get up close. Okay. So what I'm hearing is sort of like this reactionary movement of when we try to do something different, or we go out on a limb and try something new, there is going to be this kind of reactionary pushback of these like inner authoritarians who are like, who are you to do this? Or what are the logistics? So just, that's interesting. Okay. What does the Meadow and Hawk Collective need to know at this time? Okay. We're like, with Athena with the knowledge, and then the Three of Pentacles, like gathering together with others to learn something. Maybe some of us in this collective are going back to school, or getting together with like a group of people in some way, studying something new. The Queen of Swords, and okay. Okay. So this makes me think about how Mercury is currently transiting through the sign of Scorpio. And with Iris, the goddess Iris, with communication, as well as the Queen of Swords in the reverse position, there's like an inner distillation process going on, and it's kind of like very symbolic and non-literal, non-verbal, non-language based. And so if you're feeling kind of murky or in the dark or confused, or like 1 minute you're getting clarity and then the next the clarity is being taken away, it's kind of this like, the image is like someone standing in a hallway and they're just like flicking the light switch on and off and on and off and on and off. And you're just like kind of feeling the pain of being stuck, of like feeling hope and then having the hope ripped away. There's kind of, you're gonna have words for it at some point. That's for someone out there. Even if the experience is so strange and it's like everyone around you is acting strange. It's kind of, the image is like, in like a monarchy, if the king or the queen were to be like beheaded, or just like there was a revolution and someone was overthrown, and then nobody really knows how to act. And it's just like very, like there's all these like, there's a name for that, like Banana Republic, I don't know if that's the right term, but just all these like random little things popping up. And so where was I going? Oh yes, clarity's coming. Some of us are feeling kind of like, okay, like we were made to feel stupid in a way, like we can't trust something. Okay, there's some like gaslighting going on for some of us, where we know what we feel but we're feeling incompetent about it, and we don't have the words yet, so we can't verbally advocate for ourselves, but trust that what's coming to mind is brewing. Something is brewing. Okay, what's brewing? Let's go into that. This is gonna be kind of long and rambly, so feel free to hop on or off. Just trust that you got the message that you needed. Okay, Spirit, for the Meadow and Hawk Collective, what is the clarity that's emerging into our lives? Oh, this really is a continuation of the last video. Okay. We have the Two of Swords, which also showed up in the Aries full moon video, as well as the Page of Cups, which also did. So this is just a little reminder to that, whatever that little dream is in the back of your brain. Strength. Ugh. I love that. Okay. A lot of us have made hard decisions, and we can trust that it's going to pay off in some way, or by choosing the more difficult thing that risked the superficial connections, risked the politeness and the niceties, and risked being, okay, it's very specific. I'm hearing mean. If you did something that someone thought was mean, but it was just true or just honest, or kind of coming from this, like, the goddess that's coming to mind is Mot, just kind of this like feather of truth, just kind of like the weighing of the heart. If you said something that was true and others thought it was mean, just know that there's like an inner taming process going on where you are magnetizing people into your life who are able and capable of holding the full capacity of your truth, and being with you as like a full, multifaceted human being, and are not only in your life when you're kind of giving from this like martyred place. Okay, what is the energy that's supporting us as we step into this? So this is like blind faith to me. Blind faith. Blind faith in a dream. I'm hearing pipe dream. So maybe that's some of what this like outmoded intrapsychic marriage is about, is this kind of like stepping on something before it has a chance to grow, is what I'm hearing. Or kind of casting spells because it never, okay, someone projecting onto some of the people in this collective their own fears about something not working out or not having security. That's interesting. Okay. What is the Strength card about? Okay, we have Gaia with Earth. The more sustainable choice. The more sustainable choice. Okay, let me pull a plant ally. Something that can stand the test of time is what I'm hearing. But if it's not discounted immediately by those who wish to see you fail, I don't love to hear that. Someone wants to see someone fail so that they're proven right. That their narrative about how life is hard was proven right? That's interesting. That's very specific, maybe only for a few of us. Okay, what is the plant ally that's here to support the Meadow and Hawk Collective as we set these boundaries and step through these? We have ginger. That's interesting. It says it's the expecting mother's herb. I guess probably because it's like a good remedy for morning sickness, but with Gaia, the goddess is like visibly pregnant in this image, which is interesting. We also have the ginger with the expecting mother's herb. So there's something, and then also with Persephone. Oh wait, and we have literally the kind of mythic duo. We have the mother Demeter, then we also have Persephone. Okay, so there's like a symbolic thing going on here where it's like a passing of the torch is what I'm hearing, where there's a way that this kind of like protective, toxic mother, like mother knows best type thing. Like I'm thinking of like that movie Tangled where she's just like being so mean to the poor girl. But the rising of this like as yet unformed, uncertain thing, which is just really an epilogue or whatever, like a continuation of the Aries full moon video. But so if you didn't watch that, maybe check it out. So there's there's something really new happening, and I want to know more about this. Okay. But like a mother-daughter dynamic, like there's a passing of something. Maybe this is like about the election, honestly. Like a younger force taking over, taking the reins. What is this? What is Persephone bringing? What is this inexperience, this beginner's luck, this new thing? What is that about? The King of Pentacles, okay. There's like something that's like a really spiteful. Maybe this is a person in your life. Maybe this is someone who's just kind of like everything that's happened to them, it's always been like from like a very victim place of like everything is like a punishment, or everything is taking away, or this like real deficit approach to life, which the Nine of Pentacles is the opposite of a deficit approach to life. So I feel like the Persephone, the thing that's emerging, and that, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, I feel like the mythic kind of web around Persephone makes a lot of sense now, because we have the sun and the moon in reverse, in which, when I was talking about the light switch being flipped on and off, reminds me of how like half the year, or it was a third of the year, half the year she's like with Hades in the underworld, and then Demeter, the mother, is grieving because, and that's when it's winter and autumn, because Hades has taken her. And then in the spring she comes out and all the flowers are blooming and everything's happy because she's come home to her mother. Okay, so there's some part of us, this reminds me of like, this is getting kind of esoteric, but there's kind of a subtle but obvious process of soul retrieval for some of us, which is very powerful. And we're reclaiming some like very innocent, like beautiful part of us that is like free of other people's judgment. It's free to express. It's like it owns, it dares to hope in like a very vulnerable way about like how good something could actually really be. I'm really curious about this Persephone. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Spirit wants to show us the trees. They are beautiful. Okay. Okay. The Eight of Swords in the reversed. So taking off a blindfold and being available to see the truth of a situation, to kind of see all of the ways. And this reminds me of how in the Aries full moon video we talked about ties and contracts and bonds, and the ways that we kind of like the contract sort of Persephone had with Hades, the ways that we kind of sign up in a way, because she kind of it was sort of her free will, kind of, because she like ate the pomegranate and then he was like, oh, like you're psych, you now live here half the year. And so, and as a lot of tarot readers will say, like, look, this person, like, it looks pretty dire, but she could just take off. Like, the journey through the swords is often, tarot readers such as Susan T. Chang have talked about how this is really like a, like an archetypal journey through like blindness, through the ways that like thoughts bind us to things. Thoughts can really make life hell, kind of like a literal Hades, like underworld, like river Styx scenario. Taking off the blindfold, there's something that's we're realizing. What are we realizing here? There's like a very interesting like tug of war between a younger and an older energy, the mother, the daughter. Yeah, something new is being kind of woven into this, the thread. Something is, okay, the Hanged Man in the reverse. What is this clarity emerging? What does Persephone okay. The need for some sort of excitement about something. Justice in the reversed position. Okay, so for some of us in the collective, you were wronged. You were wronged. You were not treated kindly. And it was kind of like a scenario where it was like you were thinking, is this real life? Like, because it's kind of like a opposite day thing, where it's like the people around you aren't responding or reacting, or they're kind of like flat face. There's something like flat affect, or it's kind of like I'm seeing in that like famous like attachment study where they have the mothers of the babies just like have no expression, and then the babies are trying to like grasp. And there's this really like deep, painful thing going on here where it's like maybe someone around you, like there was like a violation that occurred actually. There was a real violation, and the kind of like protective part of yourself like couldn't be there in a way, which is kind of heartbreaking. Or you couldn't say what you wanted to say, or you knew what you felt, but the person needed you to say it in a certain way in order for it to be real, and you couldn't because you didn't have the words yet. But know that like that wrong will be righted in a certain way, even if it takes some time. I don't know why I'm talking about that. What was this wrong that was committed? Spirit for the Meadow and Hawk Collective, what was this wrong? What was this underworld? Like an opportunity was taken away? Like you had, okay, you were reaching for something, and right as like the baton was being handed off, it was like the hand like disappeared back into the cloud, and the opportunity was gone, and you were left kind of thinking that maybe you were crazy, or maybe it didn't even really exist ever. But know that this reminds me of like someone who takes a very vulnerable leap of faith and like starts painting or starts something that's like new and true to their heart, but then someone like laughs at it or something, which is kind of devastating. But like what? Okay, so what is the energy that is supporting us this time? Okay, this really, yeah, okay. I'm hearing right now that it's okay to be quiet internally right now as we kind of close out this Libra season and approach Scorpio season, make this transition from the kind of like Four of Swords, sorry, kind of like Libra air-based experience to the cups, as we like the swords to the cups journey as we transition from Libra to Scorpio, in terms of there's like this really interesting shift that you might notice the next few days between like trying to grasp really hard and rationalize something and like have all the knowledge, the Athena, the knowledge. But then there's a shift that happens all of a sudden where it's like all you have is how you feel about a situation, and it's just like the thoughts don't get you that far. And so it's okay if right now things are more like poetic or like lucid, or they feel kind of like in and out as we approach Samhain, Halloween, the thinning of the veils. Don't demand certainty, and you will be given a gift, is what I'm feeling right now. So what is this gift? Let's close out this video. But for the Meadow and Hawk Collective, what is this gift? Oh, okay, there's a real homecoming here. Yeah, there's a real, in the silence, when I'm hearing for some of us, people are just being weird. Like they're just unreliable in some way, or they're gaslighting you, or they're very variable or volatile, or explicitly like miscarriages of justice I'm hearing. I don't know if someone's dealing with like a court thing, like a more explicitly legal thing, or if it's even just like a friend who all of us just says like a really weird remark and you're like, whoa, I felt really unseen in that moment. There's like a real homecoming happening with the Hermit and the Six of Swords in the reverse, like a traveling back into some like very wintry internal. And the Hierophant is here, which is Taurus, which makes you think about how Uranus is currently in Taurus, kind of ripping up that area of the sky, hopefully in a good way. Also conjunct the fixed star, Caput Algol, like the head of Medusa. So there's a lot of very volatile, violent energies, honestly, in the collective in this moment. But for us, we're really having to lean into some sort of trust here that we haven't accessed in a long, long, long time, like maybe since childhood. Like the image that comes is like a kid on a swing, and they're just kind of like content, kind of feel the autumn breeze on them. Yeah, kind of like licking our wounds, going to this like inner sanctuary cave setting, maybe just like laying in your bed, turning off all the lights, putting on some like, just making it a cave, like just, there's a need to retreat at this time for sure, and kind of lick wounds, come to terms with what has been let go, especially under this Aries full moon. I feel like a lot of ties were cut or continue to be cut at this time. And trusting that if external authority figures kind of poo-poo, is that a phrase? They kind of disregard, or they kind of have like a flippant approach to like, oh, that dream is so adorable. It's so, you know, trust yourself. Okay, so this is just your daily reminder that you're very loved. Trust yourself. I believe in you. Keep going. There's something new emerging. We don't have the words for it yet, which can make it seem like it's not real, especially in a culture that needs logic and needs rationality in order for things to be real. And so, I don't know specifically, it's probably different for all of us, but just trust the dream within you. And with that, I will sign off, so have a beautiful day.